Texas Stadium, the Voodoo Palace. They've lost 5 out of the last 6 here, and to the Cowboys overall, they've lost 11 out of 12. Here with John Madden, and John, it's good to be back with you. What do you think it is about the Giants-Cowboys? What about the mystique, or is there any?
I think there probably is a little mystique, and you know, the Giants may be the last team that believe in that mystique. And most of the problems they have are in the passing game. They've had problems when they play the Cowboys. They have problems with interceptions. They have problems with fumbles. They have problems with sacks. And I think if the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys today, they have to do it with their throwing game and eliminate those mistakes. Now, on the other side, the Cowboys, I think they have to do it just the opposite. If they're going to beat the Giants, they have to do it on the ground. They have to do it running with Herschel Walker. I think at the end of the game, Herschel Walker has to have at least 30 carries for over 100 yards. Now, that may not be as difficult as it seems, because in the first 2 games, the Giants have allowed runners to gain over 100 yards in both of them.
How about the microphone goes with the tie? How about that? Tom Landry has been the one constant in the storied past of the Dallas Cowboys, past producing great names like Roger Staubach. In recent times, Danny White and Tony Dorsett have run the show. But now the stage clearly belongs to Herschel Walker. He is the present of the Dallas Cowboys, but his name may linger well in Texas for the match between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most bitter rivalries in professional football. Hurricane Gilbert has gone away. It is hot and humid and a pretty good day to play here in Texas. Hi, I'm Pat Summerall. I love tennis, but it's nice to be back in the NFL and doing pro football again. A warm day, as I said. The Giants have had some tough times here at Texas Stadium. In fact, they've lost 5 out of the last 6 here. There's something about the mystique of the stadium. Coach Bill Parcells says it's a voodoo palace. I don't know if it's the stadium or the rivalry between the Cowboys. With me is John Madden. Good to be back, John. What do you think about it? Is there a mystique between these 2 teams, or a jinx against the Giants?
I think so. I think the Cowboys have that thing, that Cowboy mystique, America's team, and maybe the Giants are really the last team that believe that. And I know that their problems have usually been with the passing game. They've had things like batted balls, interceptions, sacks. Bad things happen to them. And I believe if they're going to win, they have to be able to throw the ball. Bill Sims has to have a good day today. Now, on the other side, the Cowboys, I think it's just the opposite. This is Herschel Walker's team. If they're going to win the game, they have to be able to run it. They have to be able to keep it on the ground, give it to Herschel Walker at least 30 times, and I think he has to gain over 100 yards. Now, that may not be too tough, because in the Giants' last 2 games, a running back has gained 100 yards in each of them.
The Cowboys will start the game on offense. Raul Allegre to kick off. Darryl Clack and Kelvin Martin back deep for Dallas. Warm and humid. That could be a factor before the day is over. Allegre, good kick. It's going to be Clack at the 1. Gets through his hands. He's trying to bring it out of the end zone. It could be a safety right off the bat. Mark Collins was the first Giant down there, safety. And the Giants on the first play of the game take a 2-0 lead.
That's an interesting thing, because if Clack stepped out of the end zone, then he has to bring it out. I think he wasn't sure whether he stepped out or not. Thought he did, then thought he didn't. Now watch him. He catches the ball in front of the goal line where he first touches it. Now he comes out. He didn't have control of that. I think he could have stayed in the end zone with it.
Safety, only 2 points, but the results of a safety can be sometimes disastrous, because you give up the ball and you usually give it up in very good shape to the other team.
I'll tell you, it's another way that when you come out of that locker room, of all the ways to start the game, this was one you put at the bottom of the list. Look who was in there and made that tackle was Mark Collins.
Right.
Of course, he was the guy that was beaten last week on that play by Jerry Rice, although he played a great game the rest of the day.
John, we've just gotten word that Kevin Brooks, the Cowboys defensive tackle, who's off to such a sensational start this year, his wife was involved in an automobile accident on the way to the stadium. She, as far as our information leads us to believe, is okay. He just got here and is right now getting dressed. So we'll see. The good news is that she apparently is not seriously injured. Mike Saxon, number 4 for the Cowboys, will punt. Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants, fields it at his own 32. And McConkey, who also is off to a great start this year, gets it back close to midfield before Gary Cobb brings it down. It's a 17-yard return for McConkey. Phil Simms, who's had some frustrating days here at Texas Stadium along with his teammates, will start at quarterback. The defense, Ed Jones, Kevin Brooks, of whom we just spoke, Danny Noonan, and Jim Jeffcoat up front. Brooks has not made it into the lineup as yet. The secondary. Morris. Out of bounds at the Dallas 38. Knocked out by Robert Williams. Mark Whalen has taken Brooks's place, by the way. The offense for the Giants: Sims, Morris, Maurice Carthon, Manuel Ingram, and the tight end is Mark Bavaro. Up front, Roberts, Ard, Bart Oates, Damian Johnson, and John Jumbo Elliott starting at right tackle. Mark Ingram split wide to the right, Manuel to the left. Bavaro is the man on the move. Smart. Those of you who watched the Phoenix Cardinals win their first game of the year by beating Tampa Bay 30-24, that's the final. Welcome to Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Giants lead this one 2-0. Safety on the opening kickoff. Giants at the Cowboy 36 now, in good shape. Bright, hot, and sunny. Sims to throw. Intended Manuel. Incomplete. Covered by Downs. Those of you who watched the New Orleans Saints beat Detroit 22-14 to improve their record, and Minnesota and Chicago's audience have joined us. We're at Texas Stadium. The Vikings overwhelm the Bears. Here it's 2-0, 3rd and 8. Pat Summerall, John Madden. George Adams into the backfield. Stephen Baker split wide to the right. Sims out of the shotgun. Sims to take off. Side. Caught by Noonan. After Randy White got a hand on it. The two Giant receivers, the two key ones, it would appear, ran into each other downfield. Bavaro and Ingram.
Well, that was the thing that the Giants were worried about. The thing is, not can they throw the ball, or not can they get open, but can they protect Phil Simms long enough? The first time he really had to pass, the Giants failed.
Kelvin Martin back deep to receive Maury Buford's punt. Looking into the sun. This one's going to go way into the end zone and way out. Well, now they're marking it back. He pulled it more than I thought. At the 7-yard line, they mark it down. 29-yard punt by Buford. Dallas takes over at their own 7. Got off to sort of a whirling start.
Yeah, it did, and I think that whirling start was a real advantage for the Giants, because this Cowboy crowd was excited. You know, during the introductions, the Cowboys and everything, And one thing that does, it not only gets you a lead, but it quiets that crowd down initially.
The Giant line banking core and their secondary. Hollins and Williams to corner. PELLUER out of the shotgun first down. Throws incomplete, intended for Ray Alexander. Covered by Perry Williams. Those of you who watched the Redskins beat Philadelphia, welcome to Texas Stadium. Washington improves their record to 2-1. Eagles would be 1-2. One of these two teams would be in a first place tie with the Redskins when it's over. It's 2nd and 10, Cowboys from their own 7. Michael Irvin split wide to the left. PELLUER from his end zone. Dumps it out to Newsom. Newsom outside the 10 to about the 12. Gain of 5. The offense for the Cowboys, PELLUER the quarterback, Herschel Walker and Timmy Newsom the runners, Alexander and Irvin the wide receivers, and Doug Cosby the tight end. 2 and 8, Nate Newton, Rafferty, Crawford Kerr, and Kevin Gogan up front. It'll be 3rd and 5. Kelvin Edwards wide left. Irvin and Martin wide right. Giants on the blitz for Newsom. Out of bounds at the 41. Adrian White and Pepper Johnson put the heat on PELLUER.
You know, as we said earlier, this is Herschel Walker's team now. He's eventually going to be the guy that they have to get the ball to. Here we see Herschel Walker blocking, and who do they go deep with? Timmy Newsom. I think he's a guy that the second you forget about him, he's going to hurt you someplace.
The Dolphins got into the win column, and we'd like to welcome those of you who watched Miami's victory over Green Bay to Texas Stadium, where it's 1st and 10, the Giants leading 2-0. Thornton Chandler this time is the tight end, lined up to the left. Pitch back to Walker. Maybe 3, 4. Carl Banks, the first Giant to make contact.
I think the Giants, if they're going to have any semblance of defense, the way they have in the pass, Carl Banks has to play well. And in the first 2 games, he really hasn't. Now that play there, he started to look like the old Carl Banks. Took on that tight end, boom, held that hole, and made the play. A couple years ago, you wouldn't even think of running at Carl Banks.
2nd and 6. Irvin splits out wide to the right. Their number 1 draft choice. Giants show the blitz, and they bring it. Cosby is incomplete. He got involved in a sandwich between Pepper Johnson and Mark Collins. How long, realistically, John, do you think it'll take Carl Banks to get back into the kind of shape he was at the end of last year?
I think that he won't be the old Carl Banks until after 4 games. You know, this game isn't that type of game that you can come in and miss all the training camp and all the preseason games and play like you did. If it were that simple, everyone would be playing, you know? But and you need the training camp, and you need those preseason games. And everything happens so quickly, so fast, that no matter what you did, you can't be ready for this play.
That's the thing about it. It happens so quickly. That's the thing you miss. 3rd and 6. Banks in the middle, showing blitz. Now he backs out. PELLUER. Not much time, now takes off with it. And PELLUER struggles to midfield. We're just short of it before he's knocked down by Eric Dorsey. Picked up 5, 1 short of a first down.
Well, yeah, that's one thing you don't see many NFL quarterbacks do now, and that's run head first. You know, usually when they break in the open, they go into that slide. PELLUER tried to get that first down by running like a fullback.
Pressure on PELLUER that forced him to run was by Leonard Marshall. Saxon standing back at his own 35. McConkey back deep for the Giants. Good kick by Saxon. McConkey signals fair hard catch, backs away from it. And the Giants will take over just at about their own 8. 43-yard punt by Saxon, a good one. 2-0. The Giants lead the Cowboys. Texas Stadium, where the Giants, after Darryl Flack couldn't decide on the opening kickoff whether to stay in the end zone or bring it out, finally made an attempt, and the Giants on the opening kickoff got a safety, so they lead 2-0. Again, in case you might have just joined us, Kevin Brooks' wife, the starting Dallas defensive tackle, was involved in an automobile accident on the way to the stadium. He is not playing at the moment. She is supposed to be okay. Here's Joe Morris around Jeff Pope. Cowboy pursuit takes him out of bounds. Bill Bates, no gain. The last 5 losses against Dallas is a flag on the last play, by the way. Quarterback's been sacked 20 times, interceptions and fumbles, and those are the things that have turned things the Cowboys' way in this series.
Defense, offsides, nose guard. First down.
There is Kevin Brooks, who's gotten his uniform on, didn't have a chance to warm up, and taking advantage of this opportunity to stretch things out a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking about Kevin Brooks with Tom Landry last night, and he said coming out of training camp, he's probably the most improved player on the entire Cowboy team.
1st and 5 it is. Sims on the draw play. Jeffcoat takes down Joe Morris with help from Eugene Lockhart.
One thing with the Giants, Pat, is they have this new offensive line. They got a rookie, John Elliott, starting at right tackle. That's him right there, number 76. They only have 2 guys playing the same position that they played in the Super Bowl. And the best thing to get an offensive lineman confidence is to be able to run the ball early. The Giants are doing that.
That's just 2 years ago, of course. A lot of changes. Navarro's the man in motion. This is Morris. Morris outside the 20, enough for a first down. Pick up of 4. Stopped again by Lockhart.
You know, that's the old thing about establishing the run. It's not as much for Joe Morris as it is for that offensive line. You know, they get all fired up. The adrenaline's flowing. You come out of there, you got a little sweat going. It's humid. And you want to fire out and hit something. You know, you don't want to back up into pass protection. And I think it's always an advantage. I've always been one of those guys that believe there's an advantage to let your linemen come out and let them fire out right now initially. Start the game that way.
Sims on 1st and 10. Pass incomplete, intended for Lionel Manuel. It's one of the things Phil Sims was saying to us last night. We have to throw when they think we're going to run, and we have to run when they think we're going to have to throw.
And the guy that he wants to throw to is Lionel Manuel. You know, he didn't mention any of his other receivers. He didn't mention his tight ends. He just mentioned Lionel Manuel, who right now is Phil Sims' favorite target and should be all day.
2nd and 10. Manuel this time is split wide to the right. Maurice Carthon in the backfield with Morris. Now he moves in motion. Sims back again. Screen pass coming to Morris. Morris still on his feet, out of bounds. Flag on the play. Michael Downs made the stop on Joe Morris. Good call. Pat Haggerty in the direction of the Giants.
Those things are killers. You finally get something started, and boom, this happens.
Number 44.
On Maurice Carthon.
Yeah, that's a form of a block. If it were a run, it would be great. If it's a pass, you can't do it when the ball's in the air. Had he handed off, what Carthon did is okay. But the fact that it was a pass, even though it's a screen pass, now you take the rules of the pass and you can't block when the ball's in the air.
Second down and 20. Kevin Brooks, number 99, in the game now without a warm-up. Fake draw play by Sims. Going deep for Mark Ingram, who got it, lost it, incomplete. Robert Williams, the new cornerback, who they say has not been beaten deep all year long, was not again.
I tell you, this is some pattern because he really has the whole field. Watch Williams, he's up in tight coverage, and he has to take Ingram all over the field. They finally get up here all the way across the field, but he has no help at all. That is true man-to-man. Robert Williams, one of those guys who was a running back in college. Then he was a wide receiver with the pros. They made him a defensive back, and watch him close on the ball. Although I think Ingram dropped that pass. He should have had that, huh?
He had it momentarily. 3rd and 20. Here's Sims back again. And down he goes. Ed Jones was there first, and then Danny Noonan. A loss of 9.
And that's the guy they're worried about. Right here is Ed Too Tall Jones. Watch him here all day. That's what the Giants have been worrying about. They've been worried about that all week. They got the rookie out there on him. Ed Jones gives him that arm and the arm over, and Phil Sims doesn't have a chance.
Buford standing with his feet on the end line. Gets it out of there and does it well. Fine punt to Kelvin Martin. He's in Giant territory. That was a 57-yard punt. From deep in the end zone, the return was 16 yards.
Watch the move he makes right here at number 39 on Sheldon White. It was before that. He put him down.
There's where he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, well, that was what I was saying, because he could have stayed there, right? I got to talk to someone, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did. By Phil Sims, almost a great catch by Mark Ingram, but look at Robert Williams here by getting his hand in there and stripped the ball. So he really, on that play, would have been a big play for the Giants, but 3 pretty good things happened.
Here's PELLUER on first down. Going. Michael Irvin. Out of bounds at the Giants 17, covered by Perry Williams.
Now there is an excitable guy, Michael Irvin. I tell you, he has some life in him. Watch him, he's up there on top, brings Williams into the inside, makes a pretty good cut on him. Williams keeps going deep. Good throw by PELLUER. Michael Irvin was the #1 draft choice of the Cowboys, and you got to like this guy, Pat. I mean, he really has a lot of spirit and life in him.
Great smile, great enthusiasm.
Bounce in his walk.
Yep.
He acts more like a defensive player.
Here's Newsom. And nothing doing there but a flag on the play. A loss of 1. Leonard Marshall.
You see what Carl Banks did? He got his leg up there trying to trip him. Could be against Banks. If you saw him, he got blocked, he knocked down, and Banks just lifted his leg up.
Tripping, number 58.
On Banks, and you were right.
Here it is. You'll see Banks is down, and then you're going to see the foot come out of the pile right there. You see him, in fact, he got Newsom right in the stomach. Watch him, he's up there in the top. Now watch him leg whip him with his right leg, catches him right there. You know, sometimes you do things like that. You know, you when you're out of shape or you're not in perfect shape, you start to react with other things other than movement. You start reaching to grab, and also sometimes you reach to kick.
It's just that things don't happen quite as quickly. 1st and 10. Cowboys. Right at the Giant 10 or just outside of it. 2-0. Lead. Newsom on the delay from PELLUER. Eric Dorsey on the stop. Newsom got 3.
You know, the interesting thing, Pat, we're talking about Herschel Walker. I don't think Walker's carried the ball yet, has he?
one time for no gain.
Well, you know, when we were talking to Herschel, he said that he thinks that he does his best running as the game goes on. He'll do better in the second half and then better in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 7. 3 tight ends set up now for the Cowboys. They're at the Giant 8. Giants leading 2-0. Walker is the lone setback this time. Crosby's the man in motion. The handoff is to Walker. Reverse coming. Kelvin Martin, no place to go. Well, maybe. No. Mark Collins. They saw it coming all the way.
Yeah, who made that play was Eric Dorsey. He gets penetration. He's going to miss him twice. But Dorsey is right here. Now he gets penetration, and he makes the ball go back beyond him. Then he gets down, and he jumps up and misses him again. Watch 77. See, now he gets way up there. Now he forces the ball deep. See, he makes him go around. Now when he comes back, here comes Dorsey again. Another miss. He ran right by him. But he's the guy that made that play.
And a good play by the new Giant linebacker as well. Number 98, Johnny Cooks, who did a good job of containing. Walker, split wide to the left. PELLUER waits.
You know, when a reverse, you go like that and it doesn't work, you always wonder, why didn't they just give the ball to Herschel?
And let him keep it.
Time.
Took the timeout. If you count those X's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Cowboys, look, are in 4 wide receivers, and the Giants only had 10 defensive players on the field.
Adrian White is the man who called the timeout. Sheldon White, sorry. So it'll make it 3rd and 23 for the Cowboys at the Giant 24. Edwards goes wide left. They go with 3 wide receivers. That's IRVIN in motion. PELLUER. Intended for Kelvin Martin.
Kelvin Martin looked like on that one that he saw Terry Kennard coming. I think maybe he couldn't have caught it anyway, but Terry Kennard was a safety, and he was coming over, and it looked like Martin sneaked a peek on that play.
So PELLUER will hold for Roger Ruzick from 41 yards away. How about that one? Never missed in Texas Stadium.
Yeah, but this is his first kick this year, too. Roger Ruzick's been a holdout, just activated this week.
From 41. And perfect. So with 6:29 left to play in the first quarter, the Cowboys lead the Giants 3-2. Wiped out PELLUER, didn't they?
Yeah. See, he saw him. No, give me the other one.
Okay.
No, the other one. No, this one's no good. Let it go.
Madden, we're live at Texas Stadium. To summarize what's happened so far, Dallas gave up, or the Giants got a safety on the opening kickoff with Darryl Flack to decide whether to come out or stay in the end zone. Roger Ruzick just kicked a 41-yard field goal. The Giants have -9 yards passing, as the Cowboys have been putting heavy heat on Phil Simms. Lee Roussan and Mark Ingram back deep for the Giants. Cowboys up 3-2. 6:29 left first quarter. Bright sunlight now. Ruzick's kick hangs high. Ingram Todd Fowler. 18-yard return. 49ers leading Atlanta 3-0, and the Rams over the Raiders 7-0. Phil Simms. -9 yards passing. Dallas -5 yards rushing. Randy White in the Dallas defense playing as a linebacker at the moment. They come in his direction. He's not involved in the stop, but the Cowboys smother by Kevin Brooks. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to our New York studio, Brent Musburger. Here it's 3-2, 2nd and 5 with 5:44 left first quarter. Simms this time has time. Gets the ball to Morris. Like about a yard shy of the first down. Stopped by Michael Downs. A pickup of 5. Gary Cobb also involved. Here comes Ed Jones back in.
Well, the Cowboys went to a 3-man line with Randy White as a linebacker to give him the rush man. And when they do that, I guess they're taking too tall out. You know, when a guy plays 14 years, we're talking about Randy White and too tall, and it's a hot day like this and humid, I think Ernie Stautner, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, is trying to keep them both fresh.
They got close enough to the first down for them to bring the chains out. They got the first down. You know, Randy White, who has been so outstanding for all these years, those 14 years, last spring, last March, he could not even turn his head because of an injury to his neck. 9 times in the Pro Bowl. He's done an amazing job of rehabilitating.
Well, you know that thing, and you know, a year ago he couldn't lift weights at all, and Randy White has always been a quickness guy with a good mixture of strength, and he lost his strength. And this summer he didn't practice at all. He was a coach in training camp.
First down, Giants. Carthon in motion. Simms fake to Morris. Comes out of the pocket, gets it to Morris. Who's hammered by Gary Cobb and Eugene Lockhart after a gain of only 3.
Hey, big John Elliott there at the right tackle, the rookie right tackle, did a pretty good job on too tall on that last play. And I think if he can just keep doing that, just get into him and just ride him to the outside so Simms can step up, then they may have a chance.
He's certainly big enough. 300 and something. Once you get past 300, it doesn't really matter, does it? Carthon in motion. And off Morris, who bolts into the Dallas secondary and almost breaks it at midfield. A gain of 12, finally stopped by Bates and Wall.
Yeah, and that's what you like as an offensive lineman. And you watch Elliott there. Give me some run to my side. Run inside me so the guy just can't pass rush all the time. He flew by him the first time, then he came back and picked him off just enough to let Joe Morris go through. But an offensive lineman always wants a run to his side to calm down a pass rush.
Good block by Damian Johnson on Brooks as well. Otis Anderson has replaced Morris. Let's see with the ball. Into Cowboy territory before he stopped by Gary Cobb. Pickup of 2.
I think that's one thing. The Giants only have 2 points, but one thing offensively, they've had good mixture. You know, they're not starting where they have to pass every down. I think they have a good game plan to start the game when you're playing here in Texas.
At the Dallas 49. Second down and 8.
Hold him out, D. Hold him out, Mike.
Hold him out, guys. Please.
Kind of like a prayer.
All right, way to go, Line.
With time. Pass caught by Lionel Manuel. Manuel inside the 15 to about the 13. Stopped finally by Downs. Gain of 35.
Well, that's one thing Phil Simms last night felt very confident. He said if he can get the time, and again, we'll watch the protection first. You see the blitz coming up the middle. Good protection. They give him time. He can get back there. He can look. He can set up. And then he can throw to Lionel Manuel. And he said that's what he wants to do. Lionel Manuel against Everson Walls.
Manuel gets stronger, quicker, and more confident every week. Right now, one of the best. Carthon in motion. Handoff Morris. Morris hammers down inside the 10 to about the 8. Gain of 7.
Yeah, Joe Morris was saying that he likes it a lot better when they have two backs in there. The Giants started having two tight ends, Bavaro and Zeke Mowat. And he said he likes it a lot better when Carthon is in there. He said Carthon isn't one of those guys that's real big or strong. He said he's like a street football player. He comes in and just plays football.
2nd and 3. Tom Landry also said that's the formation they fear most. Morris again. To about the 4. Stopped by Lockhart. Gain of 2.
You know, one thing, they had two tight ends in there when they had Bavaro and Mowat, but they weren't getting a lot of production out of either one.
Doug Riesenberg.
This is a Giants short yardage offense.
Morris 8 carries for 47 yards. Otis Anderson in now in place of Morris. He gets a little bit of a rest. 3rd and 1. Mowat moves. Anderson, touchdown. However, there's a flag on the play.
Tell that by the look of the head coach. When those eyes get bigger, you know it's a penalty and it's against them. And you talk about something that kills you. You know, they've always had problems with the Cowboys and the mistakes they made. Here they score a touchdown.
Number 89, offense.
Bavaro. Giants have been penalized today 3 times for 29 yards.
But boy, did they lose a lot on that, Pat. Not only the touchdown, but they lost the 3rd and short. They didn't have to score. They could have gotten a 1st down. Now they're going to be in 3rd and long. Let's watch Bavaro. He's right here in the end, right here. You see, he gets his left hand up there outside the plane. I don't know. I guess that's holding, but boy, that's awfully picky. You have to keep your hands inside the plane of the defensive guy. He really didn't hold him. He just had his left hand outside him.
An unsure Phil Simms calls a Giant timeout.
Here's the fullback, Maurice Carthon. Now you watch, he's not really the runner. He's the guy, the reason Joe Morris likes him is right here. He has to take on the middle linebacker. The middle linebacker has to make a play in a short yardage. And look how Carthon takes out Lockhart.
Now those, John, are the eyes of a blocker, a fullback.
Those are the eyes and the legs and the whole face of a blocker. And those are the things you don't see in stats. You know, it doesn't go into any statistic that the Giants got a touchdown because Carthon blocked Lockhart.
Just to bring you up to date on what happened in the American League East today in the pennant race, the only one really still alive. That's the way it stands now. Boston in front of Detroit by 5 games, and the Yankees drop another game further back. George Adams standing alongside Simms. Semi rollout, run out, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be out of the end zone. Intended for Mark Ingram, incomplete. Manny Hendricks back on the coverage, and the Giants will have to try for a field goal.
It was good coverage by the Cowboys and Manny Hendricks because Phil Simms had the time. He just didn't have anyone open, so he threw that ball away. So if Allegre makes this, the Giants lost 4 points because of the penalty.
Allegre, an ex-Cowboy, will try from 32 yards away. Hostetler is the holder. Dallas in front by 1, 3-2. Good. 5-3. I don't think we've ever done a game with a score like that.
That's sounds like one of those baseball scores in the American League East.
40 seconds left in the first quarter. Sort of a blessing, John, that the sun has gone behind the clouds now, and it's not quite as hot as it was earlier in the day. Very humid and very hot when we were down on the field before the game.
I think that's something that you're probably not going to see in the first half, the effects of it. I think when you see that is the fourth quarter. And you know, we were talking to Tom Landry. He says this year the Cowboy offense is going to be a conservative offense, and we hope to wear them down and win games, win close games in the fourth quarter. I think it's ironic that Herschel Walker hasn't done much yet.
Maybe he might if his philosophy comes true, if they do wear him down, because Herschel said, as did Joe Morris, I feel that I get stronger the more I get the ball and the more the game wears on.
And the defense gets a little slower. And then, as Herschel said, you know, the defense always comes out early in the game. They come out of the locker room, they're all fired up, they're ready to stop you. He said there'll be 8 or 9 guys when you run the ball. He said in the second half they forget all that rah-rah stuff, and then not as many of them get there.
Like ready to kick off to Clack. Kelvin Martin is going to be Clack again, just about in the same spot. He's going to come out this time. And he's cut down at the 10 by Mark Collins.
Hey, Mark Collins right now is one of the best players on this Giant defense.
Forget what happened last week.
Well, you forget, I mean, he does so many things. He shuts his guy out all the time. A lot of times they did get a big play against him, but he'll be on coverage teams. He comes down. He does everything. I mean, he's a complete player.
Collins is already there. First down. Cowboys at their own 11. Steve PELLUER, the quarterback. Handoff, Walker. Flag on the play. Picked up only 1.
Hey, that'll make a conservative game out of it when you get penalties every time, and then you get those long yardage situations. Guarantee, if you want to be a conservative person, this is where you're going to be conservative.
Pat Haggerty.
Holding, 68, offense, decline, second down.
Declined the penalty on call against Crawford Kerr. That was Kevin Sweeney signaling in the plays to Steve PELLUER. Second and 9.
I don't know, I'm a little surprised. That would have been half the distance to the goal line. The Giants decided to turn down the penalty. I always like to back them up as far as I could.
PELLUER. Across the field to Walker. Away from 1 and out of bounds at the 25. It should be enough for a first. They should have backed him up.
Well, that's the reason right there. You know, second and 9, when you're inside the 10, outside the 10, it's still a passing down. When you get a first and 15 like on the 5, I would bet that they would go to the conservative run approach.
They got the first down out to the 25. 1 second left to play in the first quarter. Suns back out at Texas Stadium. Walker. Carson and Kennard stop Herschel. That's the end of the first quarter with a score. The Giants 5. Live at Texas Stadium. Into 1 quarter. Giants lead 5-3. It'll be second and 1 as we begin. Here's Johnny Cooks, the new acquisition just last week for the Giants. Picked up from Indianapolis. Second and 1. Walker and Newsom behind PELLUER. Irvin in motion. Walker. First down and more. Gain of 7. Leonard Marshall's the first man to hit it, but you need some help with him.
Well, they got help from Johnny Cooks real late. He came diving over the pile. You see him come soaring in here? Watch 98. He gets some penetration up on top. Now watch him. He's going to come diving right in the middle of the picture, 98. There he goes. Whoa! Let me get some guys. He said, I kind of like this NFC. They run a lot more in here.
First and 10. PELLUER will throw. Here comes Cooks. PELLUER to Irvin. And he got it. What a good catch. Mark Collins on the coverage. Flag on the play.
How PELLUER threw that one, I have no idea. As you said, Cooks came on a stunt right up the middle. The Cowboys didn't block him, and he hit PELLUER just as he threw the ball. You wonder how he could have anything on it to get the ball deep. Watch 98 right there in the middle. They don't block him. He comes right up. PELLUER couldn't follow through.
Defense.
Late hit called against Collins. This is a heck of a catch by Irvin.
I think if they had to do it, it had to be the left hand there to the head, Pat. Watch him here. He's all right. Now watch the left hand to the head. To the net.
That had to be what it was. First down, Dallas at the Giant 11.
One thing that Michael Irvin, he'll draw some penalties. Remember in the Monday night game?
Yeah.
The Cardinals had a big penalty hitting him late. You know, because he's one of those guys that talks all the time. And maybe that's an advantage. Maybe you can not only catch deep passes, but you can taunt the other guys into 15-yard penalty.
And make them mad. 3 tight ends. And Cosby on the move. PELLUER. That's to Walker. Walker to the 5 and a flag on the play. Got 5. Kenny Hill made the stop.
This is a dangerous game. It seems like the closer they get to the goal line, the more of those yellow things come flying out.
Cosby was in motion. That's going to be the penalty.
Illegal motion, number 66.
No.
Offense.
Kevin Gogan, the offensive right tackle, was moving. Along with Cosby, I guess.
Here's Gogan. He's right there, the right tackle. He started to pull. He had a pull to the left, and he knew that he had to get all the way around that other corner, so he just started a little early.
That'll make it first and 15 at the 16. 5-3 the score. Giants leading Dallas. Walker is the man in motion this time. PELLUER back to throw. Quickly. Pass complete to Michael Irvin in front of Collins this time. PELLUER threw it quickly.
I think Irvin's going to be one of the good wide receivers in this league. You know, he's only a rookie. He's only playing his 3rd regular season game. But the guy has a combination of good hands, good moves, and you just get the feeling that he understands the game of football.
Well, they gave him Drew Pearson's old number, so you know, other than drafting him #1, they thought a lot of it.
He said the toughest part is the 4th quarter. He said when he was at the University of Miami, he was always sitting on the bench drinking Gatorade in the 4th quarter.
Because they were always ahead. Now they got to play. Here's PELLUER with time. Incomplete. Intended for Cosby. Like it might have slipped out of PELLUER's hand.
That Pepper Johnson had good coverage. He was right on Doug Cosby. Pepper looks like he's limping a little in there. Watch 52, Pepper Johnson. He has real good coverage. He's right there with him, gets his hand in there, puts him to the ground. It's the thing you don't always see linebackers, but a lot of them will make a team or not make a team, not by the way they tackle, but by the way they pass coverage.
And in Pepper Johnson's case, very valuable on special teams as well. 3rd and 10. PELLUER looking in zone. Incomplete, intended for Cosby again. Covered by Kenny Hill.
Both these teams, you know, have trouble the closer they get to the goal line today. You know, and it's been penalties too. And then they get in that long yardage situation. The defenses just rise to the occasion. And I guess when you have a 3-2 game, that's kind of a 5-3 game, that's what you expect.
We're about to have a 6-5 game, looks like. Allegri has never missed in this stadium. PELLUER will hold. 28 yards away he is. Well, now he has missed in this stadium. He pushed that one. So it remains with 12:44 left to play in the first half. Giants 5, Cowboys 3. Just late. The score is Giants 5, the Cowboys 3. Dallas safety on the opening kickoff. Giants scored a touchdown, 5-yard run by Otis Anderson. Penalty cost them that one. So that's why the score remains what it does. With 12:44 left to play in the first half. We're at Texas Stadium. Both teams 1-1. Redskins have already won. Here's Sims back to throw. And just throws it away. Intended for Bavaro, who's covered by Michael Downs.
You know, one of the problems you have when you play the Cowboys is that Tall and Brooks are so big that you have problems throwing to this side. You watch as they get this. Now, as Sims comes back here, he has to try and somehow get the ball between these guys as they get up the field on him. Now, watch Tall up there. Although there's no sack involved, watch how he has to guide that ball between that lane.
Almost sidearm.
Almost sidearm, and I think that's why it went high, too.
This is Morris, chased by Bates. And hit by Wall.
You know, Joe Morris, as you look at him there, and again, you always wonder, how does a guy that size have so much power? He works on it all year. In fact, he squats. You know, that's where you put the weight on your shoulders, and then you go all the way down in a full squat, 600 pounds.
Amazing. And he doesn't, until you see him not in a uniform. And street, well, most guys look bigger in a uniform. He looks bigger in regular clothes. Sims, outside complete to Lionel Manuel. Gain of 11, stopped by Williams.
Yeah, there could be something to that. Sims had trouble throwing to the right, getting the ball around and through Tall and Brooks. So now he just puts Manuel over in the left, and he said, let's try it over on this side and see if I can get more of a lane. And he does. That's not a bad matchup there, putting Lionel Manuel against Robert Williams, the rookie corner.
He was not a cornerback in college. He was an offensive back. Manuel split to the right this time, and Morris, the ball carrier. Down, struck it out. And Ron Burton with the assist.
One thing that's tough to run, that's one of the reasons it's tough to run against the Cowboys, is they get their safeties up there, either Downs or Bates, so quickly. So once you get this, and you see once he comes up into this box, now you come into an 8-man front, and you only have 7 to block. Now watch as Downs gets up there. That gives the Cowboys 8 men on the line. And you just can't get that block. There has to be a free guy.
Otis Anderson in the backfield. That's Carthon in motion, coming back this way now. Sims back to throw. Has time. Had a receiver. Mark Ingram. Situation substitution. One of football's new terms the last couple of years, and here they come from the Cowboy side. Randy White and Gary Cobb. And the Giants bring in Stephen Baker and George Adams. And Mowat.
The Cowboys defense, they go to what they call a 4-0. In this case, they do have one linebacker in there, 4 defensive linemen, 6 defensive backs.
Including Billy Owens and Manny Hendricks. Sims. Here comes a Dallas blitz. Sims buried, but he still gets rid of it. That'll be enough for a first down. Again, it's Lionel Manuel. Gain of 14.
I think it's interesting the Giants throwing to the left now. I think it's that same reason it has to be. It's not that the coverage is that much different over on Sims's right side. You watch him here. He's looking to left all the way. And you see why? Because he has better lanes. Although Randy White dunked him after he threw the ball, but he has better passing lanes to his left than he has to his right.
Simply because those guys on that side just aren't as tall. Too tall and too big on the right side.
Equal of Forrest.
Manuel's caught through. Morris into Dallas territory to their 48. Picked up 6, stopped by Danny Noonan. About that, Atlanta over San Francisco at Candlestick. Cheryl Riggs scored the Atlanta touchdown. The Rams 10-0 over the Raiders in the second. This time Manuel comes right, covered by Wall, 2nd and 4. Morris, too tall. Smothered him. He's only a foot taller.
See, that was the play. Remember the year that the Giants went to the Super Bowl? This was their big play, running Joe Morris to the right on that delay type of thing. Watch Too Tall take on Elliott here. See, he doesn't get any movement on him. He starts to, Too Tall changes directions on him and gets back in the hole.
Amazing thing about that guy, number 72, 14 years, you said, he hasn't missed a game or a practice.
That is amazing. Remember, he took the 1 year off to become a fighter, but other than that, he's never had that injury. Wonder how you can play that long and not get hurt.
He gets batted one and it's picked off. He's done it again. Williams, the interception. Too tall, got the hand on it.
Sims is saying I should have stayed on that left side. I was having better passing lanes over there. Williams gets the handshake, but Too Tall is the guy that causes it. Watch him here in the left of the screen, coming up. Now watch him, he just gets that left hand up there and knocks the ball down, and there's Williams.
So Dallas takes over at their own 47-yard line. 8:17 left to play in the first half.
What he does is every time they've thrown to him, he's lined up over there. Otherwise, running plays over here. The only 2 times he's been over there, the 2 times they threw to him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Other time he's been up the top.
Yeah, but when was the game that he batted 2 and Jeff Coates scored on him? Was that 2 touchdowns they did that?
Yeah, yeah.
Was that the last?
It was not the same game. It wasn't even the same year. It was 2 years, like 2 years in a row, I think.
Yeah, but was one last? When were
one
those?
One was last
2?
year, and one was 3 years ago, I think.
85 and 87.
I think.
We lost one center. He lost one center snap up there too. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
This is just if you're a New York fan. If you're a Cowboy fan, it's good defense, right?
Phil Simms just had the ball deflected by Ed Jones, his first interception in 151 attempts. Steve PELLUER, the Dallas quarterback. The Cowboys take over their own 48. Herschel Walker is split wide right. PELLUER under heavy pressure from Johnny Cooks again. Had to throw it away.
I tell you, Cooks just got here, but if he continues to be the pass rusher, This may be what the Giants need. Here's Cooks. They're going to come here. He comes on a stunt right up the middle, and that's the second time that he's gotten to PELLUER just as he throws the ball. Watch him. He starts up, then he comes inside and zeroes in on that quarterback. Of course, the Giants are playing without Lawrence Taylor, and they need that pass rusher from linebacker, and they think they might have it in this guy.
2nd and 10. Mark Tuine, who starts at left tackle for Dallas, is out with a twisted knee. PELLUER back to Walker. Nothing there, although Herschel still fights. Kenny Hill, the first man to hit, and loss of 2. Darrell Smith has taken Tuine's place at offensive left tackle.
One thing, Carl Banks got in on that play sideways. See him? He was in there. They were covering him. Banks got all turned around. He's up on top there. Watch him. You have to do anything you can when it gets hot and heavy in there. Watch him. He's in there sideways blocking him. But he plugged that hole. You plug it with the front of the body, your back of the body, or the side of your body. What's the difference?
Whatever it takes. 3rd and 12. 2 wide receivers to the right. PELLUER out of the spread. Pass is caught. Michael Irvin about a yard short of a first down, and he drew a crowd in a hurry.
Well, and Andy Hedden is the guy that hit him and stopped him from getting the first down. It'll be an interesting decision for Tom Landry now.
Well, it's not going to take him long because he's already got Mike Saxon on the field. Giants 5, Cowboys 3.
You know, for the Giants, that was a big play by Hedden because Irvin had a first down there had he been able to fall forward. By Hedden hustling back there and making that hit, that knocked him off.
Bill McConkey, as you can see, obviously having difficulty looking right into the sun. Now, there's a new rule that could come into effect here. If he shades his eyes, and it could be misinterpreted as a fair catch signal. Saxon's kick is a high one. McConkey's going to let it go. Cowboys bat it back. The Giants finally pick it up. They then lost it. Now they have it again. And now they lost it again. Gary Reasons is the Giant who wound up with it.
The offensive or the coverage team can't touch the ball. If it touches the offensive guy and then goes off him, then it's a live ball, and the kicking team can recover it. This has to be a conference.
Ron Burton finally recovered the fumble for the Cowboys. It was Charles Wright that batted the ball back right at the goal line.
Now, Wright is number 41. He bats the ball back. Now it hits the Cowboy. Now, if it hits a Giant player, it becomes a live ball. Right there, now it's a live ball. Now it's a fumble.
And Reasons is the first Giant to hit it. And now he lost it. And it comes up in the hands of Burton. Just took it away from him.
Well, that has to be the Cowboys' ball.
They're reviewing without question.
Well, there's one official that doesn't have a hat in there. He threw his hat to mark the spot of the penalty. I mean, the spot of the fumble. Well, we got a lot of stuff here. We got bats and fumbles and everything. See here, that's where the Giants have to do something. Now the Giants have the ball. So now when they get hit, it's going to be a fumble. As he gets hit, the Cowboys just take the ball away from him. That has to be Cowboy ball.
Burton comes out of there with it, no question about it. The Giants, however, have their offensive unit on the field, and Dallas has their defense on the field.
Well, you saw Reasons as he came out of that file. He didn't have the ball. He went into it with a ball and came out of it without.
That sounds like it should belong to the folks in white.
This one, to me, there has to be the Cowboy ball or one of those back-out things they call inconclusive, which I don't see how it can be inconclusive.
Here comes Sims over to the sideline. They are indeed reviewing. It's worth a review.
replay official is Armin Terzian. The guy we just saw up there with the glasses right there, that's Armin Terzian. You remember him? He was the guy that got hit in the head with the bottle in Minnesota that year.
Yeah. That was after the Hail Mary pass, wasn't it?
Right. And I don't know what the review is.
We may have to Hail Mary again. Here's the bat.
Well, the only thing that could be, you know, I mean, if he were on the line, then the ball could be in the end zone, and it would be the Giants' ball in the 20.
Observation by the replay official. The play will stand as ruled, 1st and 10 on the 19.
Not popular.
The only thing that I could see there is they said when they batted the ball that they were on the line, but I don't think they called that.
No, I don't think so
because
either.
then the ball would have to be on the 20.
Right.
Which is where it just happened to be, but it's short, so I would think they had to say it wasn't a fumble. Yeah, the fans are booing that one. I understand why.
They have to say that Reasons was down when Burton came up with the ball. This is Morris. There's no place to go. Jim Jeffcoat, the first man there.
One thing that will always kill the running game is any penetration by the defense, and that's what Jeffcoat did.
Little extra dance step. 2nd and 11. The Giants 5, the Cowboys 3. Ryan O'Manuel to the left. The handoff to Morris. Morris hammers almost for a Giant first down, stopped by Bates and down. Pickup of 10. They lost 1 on the first down, so it should be a yard short. It's going to be close.
That's the thing. You come into this game and you would think that the Giants would pass and the Cowboys would be the running, and lo and behold, in the first half, it's the Giants and Joe Morris doing the running.
Morris got the first down. He's got 66 yards. The Cowboys, with all the notoriety and ballyhoo about Herschel Walker, only have 9.
I know you would think if you said one's going to have 66 and one's going to have 9, guess who before the game? It would have been the opposite guess.
Manuel comes right, Ingram is left. They go on a quick count, and it's Morris again.
Good block.
By Downs, Lockhart, and Bates. 49ers in trouble against Atlanta. They were 2-0 after coming out of 2 road thrilling victories. 2nd and 3. 4:04 left to play in the first half. Anderson has replaced Morris. That's Anderson. Flag on the play. 2 flags on the play. Danny Noonan on the stop. Anderson got 4.
Well, we've had a lot of penalties in this first half. You notice that? We may be going after some record.
Ball start, number 68, offense.
Damian Johnson just got information that Steve Largent, the Seattle Seahawks, has become the all-time reception yardage leader with 12,148 yards. That's a lot.
You know, when you think of the great players in the NFL, Steve Largent is one of them. And I think people tend to forget him. Maybe it's because they're up there in Seattle or whatever, but he's one of the all-time great. He's a Hall of Famer.
Without question. Anderson breaks a couple of tacklers and gets out of bounds. Gain 7. 2 Cowboys hit O.J. and he kept going.
You know, a lot of people had Otis Anderson cut this year. They thought that there's no way that he would make it. You know, people cut the teams, he will be. And then he comes to training camp, and of all the running backs in Giant training camp, Otis Anderson comes out with the best training camp. And then here he is. I think other than Joe Morris, Otis Anderson was probably the second guy on Bill Parcells' list of running backs.
He had so many outstanding years with the Cardinals. First down. 3:40 left to play in the first half. It's the Giants 5, the Cowboys 3. First and 10, the ball at the 40.
As we look at these things, the thing that surprises me is that, again, the Cowboys only rushed for 9 yards. But I get the feeling this first half, Matt, is just a sparring session, that the real game is going to be in the second half, and maybe the whole thing will just boil down to that fourth quarter.
Manuel wide left, Navarro in motion. Anderson by Brooks. And guard Jackson this time, and another penalty on the play. Against the Giants.
'65 offense holding, still first down.
Bart Oates.
Right there, he has the left hand, I think, is okay. And again, it's the right hand which is outside the plane. If you keep your hands inside, they usually let you get away with anything. It's once you get them outside that they call it.
Too tall, Jones. Again, stopping Otis Anderson. We talked at the beginning of the show today about the miscues and misfortune that the Giants have had in Texas Stadium. 1 quarterback sack today, 6 penalties for 55 yards, 1 touchdown called back because of a penalty, and then 2 drop passes. One of them was a big one.
And of course they had that batted pass too. But I think that's one thing, that the Giants have had some bad luck. But to me, as I watch this, the Cowboy defense is making that happen.
Playing very well. You're right. Here's Sims. Trying to set up the screen, got no place to go. Finally sidearms to Manuel, covered by Wall. Threw it away, and another flag. Might have been that when they were setting up the screen and Sims had no place to go, one of the offensive linemen got downfield.
An eligible man downfield on the offense.
That's exactly what it was, because there was no one open. He couldn't throw the screen. He used Lionel Manuel as an outlet, but while he was looking for Manuel, then the offensive lineman is downfield, which really isn't his fault.
Billy Ard, I believe.
Because you expect the thing to be thrown. You see, you come out there was no one open to Sims's left. So now during this time, the offensive line gets downfield as he looks for the outlet. I mean, that wasn't Ard's fault. You can't look behind you. That's just a timing thing.
Sure.
Again, good defense. No one open on the screens. Make Sims scramble, and that's going to happen.
Well, you don't look back. You just count. You go in an imaginary count, and when that count comes, when the time comes, you go downfield. Third down. Sims out of the pocket. Down the sideline to Manuel. He backed out of bounds. That won't be enough for a first.
You know, that's one way to throw to the right, although it wasn't enough for a first down. The Giants don't do a lot of that, but that was an organized scramble. Sims got the ball, then moved that to the right, had the blocker in front of him. If you can't throw it over or around that side, maybe the way to do is to try and get outside of it.
Kelvin Martin back. Signals fair catch at his own 14-yard line, where the Cowboys will take over. 2:17 left to play in the first half. Dallas has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The Giants have only 1.